Hi folks, this is Avnish from Edureka. Welcome to this session on DevOps Tools. So this is what we are going to discuss today. We will understand about different stages in DevOps. We will see which tools are used in DevOps approach and also how these tools operate in each of the DevOps stages. I will talk about a use case where I will show how Edureka is following DevOps approach to deploy a new homepage on select audience. This new homepage is having some personalized features for a particular set of audience. At the end, I will be implementing this using different tools in DevOps. So stay with me till the end of this session, guys. It is going to be very interesting. This is how the DevOps stages look like in the real world. Just spend few seconds, guys, on this slide. Just by looking, you can understand different stages in DevOps and how they are connected. You can see developers are writing the code, and after they commit their code, it's going to version control stage. So this is the first stage in DevOps. In this stage, you can manage the codes written by your developers. The next stage is continuous integration. So what does continuous integration mean? Rather than waiting for all the developers to commit their code and then building and testing it, in continuous integration approach, when any developer commits the code, that code is merged with the main branch, then you can use Jenkins to create a build. After that, you can test your code in a virtualized environment. So this saves a lot of time in moving the code from dev environment to test environment. We need not wait for all the developers to commit. Even though you are able to do continuous integration, it is of no use if you are not testing continuously. So the next stage is continuous testing. In this stage, you can automate your test by writing a Selenium script and then run it through Jenkins in a virtualized environment. If the test fails, we stop here and send back the issues to the developers. If the test passes, we move ahead and deploy it. Now in continuous deployment stage, we have two parts: configuration management and containerization. Let's talk about configuration management first. Consider there are 5 servers up and running and they have same environment libraries tools on them. There would be many of you from older background where in past we used to have shell script to do this job. Now if I need to have exact same configuration across hundreds of servers, using shell script will be obviously pretty much complex. Hence we need a tool which can automate this job for me. Puppet is the most popular tool for configuration management. The second part of continuous deployment is containerization. In this stage, as mentioned before, you can create a test environment where you can run your application and test it. This stage is mostly used for testing purpose. It gives virtualized environment where I can run my Selenium script to test my application. 90% of organizations are using containerization only in testing stage. Only 10% of organizations are using it on production. In late 2015, Docker 1.9 came, which was stable to run on production as well. For example, if you need to run few applications on prod for shorter duration, you can easily create a container on prod and run those applications in that container. And when you don't need those applications anymore, you can destroy the container. You can refer to the video mentioned here to understand more on containerization and virtualization. Now that you have deployed your application, you need to monitor it to see if the application is performing as desired and the environment is also stable. This is where continuous monitoring comes into the picture. By monitoring the application, you can quickly determine when a service is unavailable and understand the underlying causes. And then you can report back all the issues to the developers. So Nagios is one of the most popular tools used in continuous monitoring. So this is how all the DevOps stages are connected. Developers are coding over here. They are push all their code onto Git where version control happens and you manage all the codes here. Then you can make a build and run it through Jenkins. After building it, you can run your automated test scripts in Selenium using Jenkins. Once the test passes, you can deploy it on prod where you can use Puppet for configuration management and deploy on thousands of servers. And finally, you can do monitoring on your application using Nagios. So you get a lot of benefits for using DevOps approach. First one is the faster deployment. We were able to move the code very fastly from dev environment to test environment. We need not wait for all the developers to commit their code. You can easily scale to thousands of servers. Puppet can automatically do configuration management to even thousands of servers. And also, once you deploy your application onto the prod, if something goes wrong, you can roll back to the previous stable version. So it's very reliable. Let us discuss the use case now. Think about a scenario where we have launched a new homepage with some personalized features. So before we make it available to all the users, we want to roll it to select audience to test and ensure that everything is working fine before wider deployment. This approach is called dark launching. This term was coined by Facebook. You can refer this video to know more about dark launching. Now let's assume that we are using it for US audience only. So we deploy this homepage only on US servers. Now the another difference is we want to migrate it to Cake PHP 3. Our previous version of homepage is on Cake PHP 2. So what all solution we can have to deploy our new homepage on US servers? Now if we deploy this new homepage on each server manually, it will be time taking and also it is not scalable. A shell script can do the job, but it's complex to run it on multiple servers, and any change made to script in the future will lead to more complexity. Hence, we need a configuration management tool which can do this job automatically and also scale to thousands of servers without any hiccups. Now that you guys have understood the use case, we are good to go. Let's get started. But before I begin with the practical, let me show you the environments I am using. So I am using 3 machines in this demo. I'm using different operating systems to give you a feel of working with different environments. On my first machine, I'm having CentOS, where my Jenkins and Puppet master are running. Second machine is my test machine. This machine is having Ubuntu, where I create my test environment using Docker and run my application in a Docker container. A Puppet agent is also running on this machine. I will run a test case for login as well by running this Selenium script through Jenkins. My third machine is my production machine. This is also having Ubuntu operating system. A Puppet agent is running on this machine, and this is where I deploy my application finally. So let's begin with the demo. So let's start the practical now. So the first thing is my project is already there on the GitHub. Whatever developers made, the project they pushed on GitHub. So using Jenkins, I can pull it onto machine 1. I'll just create a simple Jenkins job which will pull this project which is there on GitHub. And on machine 1, you can see my Puppet master is running, and machine 2, machine 3, already Puppet agent is running. So guys, if you don't have these Git, Jenkins, Puppet, all these configured, no need to worry. Just follow the video which is mentioned over here and you can set all these up on your system as well. Okay. So let's go ahead and get the project using Jenkins onto machine 1. So my project is there on GitHub. I'll just create a simple job in Jenkins to pull the project from GitHub. So I will go to my machine 1. Right, so my Jenkins is already there. I have a project over here. Let me just show you this project. So all you need to do is create a project. You can give a name and just go to source code management Git, where you can give this URL. Now from where I'm getting this URL, right? Let me go to my browser. So this is where my GitHub project is there. Can you see Edureka_home? This is my homepage application which I'm going to deploy today. Now if you click on clone or download, you can get a SSH key over here. Can you see use an SSH key and passphrase from account? So this is the SSH key and passphrase for my account. So this is what is there on machine 1. So repository URL, you need to give this one, and my username password is already configured over here. If I click just on add, you can see all you need to do is you need to configure your username and password, right? So that is there, and my branch by default is master. That's all you need to do. Just give your repository URL and credential. That's all. Save it. Okay. Now if I click on build now, you can see one build will start over here. Let me click on this build, console output. Okay. So the build has completed. It has succeeded. Now if I do a simple ls command, let me go to home Edureka.Jenkins workspace, and my project was demo new. So if I do ls, can you see Edureka_home? So this is my application which I have pulled onto machine 1. Let's go back and see the second step. So after this, what I need to do is my Puppet master is running on machine 1 and my Puppet agent is already there on machine 2. So now what Puppet agent does is it periodically talks with Puppet master. In real world scenario, it periodically talks with Puppet master, and whatever configuration is there on Puppet master, it pulls it up on machine 2 also. Wherever Puppet agent is running, they pull the configuration from Puppet master. For our session, I'll be just running a simple command which will be pulling the configuration, right? So what I'll do is my Puppet master is already configured. I'll just show you what all Puppet files are there, what all configurations I have set up on my Puppet master. So it will be sending the application which I have just now pulled on machine 1 to machine 2. I'll just show you the configuration, how it happens. And once the application goes on machine 2, I'll be running that application inside a Docker container. So let me go to machine 1 and I will go to etc Puppet. If I do ls, I have just created a module test copy. Okay, so the modules are a bundle of code. Okay, bundle of code and data. You can create your own module, share it wherever you want to use it. So this module, what it does is it transfers my application to machine 2. Let me show you how my Puppet file looks like. So this is my Puppet file. These all configurations are there in this file, init.pp. So what it is doing is, inside this I have already placed my Edureka underscore home application. So it is sending this application to home Edureka app1. This path is of machine 2. And the owner and the group will be Edureka and the mode will be 777. So this is how I have configured on Puppet master. Now the main Puppet file is over here. If I give manifest site.pp, this is my main manifest file. So all I'm doing is I'm just importing this module which I have created and I'm calling for this my file. Now let's go ahead on machine 2 and execute it. So as I said before, I'll just run a simple command. Let me go inside root. So normally Puppet agent periodically talks with master and pulls all the configuration. Just for this demo, I'm using this command. Puppet agent -t. It will pull all the configuration from Puppet master. Okay, so my job has almost finished. So we were sending the application on machine 2 in home Edureka app1 directory. Let's go here inside app1 directory. Can you see? My application is present on machine 2 now, right? So my Puppet job was successful. Now the next thing what I need to do is I need to run this application which has come to machine 2 inside a Docker container. So I need to build a Docker image and I need to run this command to start a Docker container. Now let's see how to do that. I will go back to my machine 2. So can you see a Docker file over here? So you can get lot of Docker images on hub.docker.com which you can use it. Like for me, I'm using, it's a Cake PHP application, so I can use a Cake PHP Docker image directly. They give a Docker file also. So everything will get installed inside a Docker container. All the commands are there. This Docker file, using this Docker file, you can build your own Docker image as well. So that's what I have done. So my Docker file looks like this. It is almost as the same as Cake PHP Docker file. I'm just moving my Edureka home inside var www HTML where my Apache is running, right? And I'm moving all the files which is there in Edureka home inside this path. And at the end, I am running a simple script run.sh which is running my application. So now let me just go ahead and show you how to build a Docker image. So I'll give a command docker build -t. Whatever Docker image name you want to have, you can give it over here. Let me give it Edureka underscore new3 and dot. Once I press enter, it will start to build a Docker image. Can you see? It is building a Docker image and all the commands which were there one by one, each command in the Docker file will get executed. So let's wait and we will have a Docker image at the end. So can you see? One by one, it is executing all the commands which was there in Docker file. Okay, so it has successfully created a Docker image. Now I can check it by using the command docker images. If I give it, can you see it has created a new Docker image Edureka underscore new3 12 seconds ago. Just now we have created a new Docker image. We can have a Docker container using this image where our application will run. Okay, let me go back to my slide. So to run a container, all you need to do is run a Docker image. Now using Docker run and giving the port number, okay, and giving the application path and my image name, just now the image which I created, using this Docker run, it will create a container. Okay, inside the Docker image, it will create a Docker container where our application will run. Let me go to machine 2. So now if I give command docker ps, already one container is up and running where my application is running. I use the image Edureka new. It is very similar image to Edureka underscore new3. So let me use this container itself. All you need to do is use docker run command and the image ID, the same container will get created. Okay. So now if I need to go inside this container, let me just give the command docker exec. So docker exec is the command which I need to give. Docker exec -it, and I will use this container ID. Okay, and bin bash. Now can you see, earlier I was in root @ Ubuntu. Now I am inside the container, root @ this container, right? ls. All I wanted to show was all my application files are already there inside var www.html, where my Apache is running. So now you can see this port. My application is already up and running on this 0.0.0.0. I have configured this for www.edureka-dev.co. So now if I go to browser and go to this URL www.edureka-dev.co, I can see my application up and running over there. So let's go to my browser now. So let me just go and open this URL, which is running on port number 9006. I have configured 0.0.0.0 for edureka-dev.co. Yup. Can you see my home page is there now? My Edureka home page. So I have successfully deployed my Edureka home page on my test machine, right? Now let's run a simple test case. So that will be our next job. Now once your application is running inside a Docker container, you can run your Selenium script on it, okay, using Jenkins. So what we will do is we will prepare an ant build of Selenium project. I will just quickly show you my Selenium project. It's a Java project, and I will be exporting it as an ant build. And then I will be running a Selenium test inside Jenkins. Let me show you how to do that. So now if I go over here, it's a simple Java project, selenium_test.java, right? I will right click on this project. I'm just checking it for a simple login. Okay, that's all I'm doing over here. I will export. I will go to general and click on ant build files. Select your project, and I want this JUnit to be in my project path. I will give it as home, Edureka, workspace, and my project name is Selenium. This is where my JUnit directory will be there. So all I need is this build.xml file. Let me just click on finish. Now if you come down, can you see it has created a build.xml file, and it will give me a target name. Can you see? Target name Selenium_test. So this will be running using Jenkins. Let's see how to do that. Let me go back. My Jenkins is already running. I will create a new project. I will create Selenium project, click on freestyle project and click on OK. Scroll down and go to build and click on invoke ant. Add a build step, invoke ant. Now my target name was Selenium_test. Just now we saw that. Okay. And click on advanced and just give the path of build file. So let me go to my project and click on properties here for build.xml file. It will give me the path where build.xml file is residing. Control C. I'll go back here and paste it and apply save. Now let's build it. Now what it will be doing, it will automatically open a Mozilla browser where it will open my Edureka homepage, and it will test for a simple login automatically. I won't be doing anything. So it has opened my homepage, went to sign in, checked for a simple login, right? Now if I go on this build which was there and click on console output, can you see the build was successful? So I have successfully ran my Selenium script using Jenkins. And now let's go back here. What's the next step? Now once my test has successfully passed, I can destroy my container, right? I can destroy my image itself, the complete Docker image. I don't need it anymore. So let's go back to machine 2. So now that my test was successful, I can destroy my Docker image now, which will eventually destroy the Docker container as well. So how to do that? Let me go out of this container. So we were having these many Docker images, right? So if I do Docker images, can you see? All these images were there. Now let's say I want to destroy this image Edureka_new3 which we created just now, okay? So all we need to do is Docker RMI and use this image ID, okay? paste. Can you see it has deleted my Docker image? Now if I give the command again Docker images, you won't find that image, Edureka_new3. It's gone. Okay. So now after destroying this Docker image, the next part is we can go ahead and deploy our application on machine 3. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So this is what we were supposed to do. We have already done it. You can destroy your container using this Docker stop container ID, Docker RM container ID. If you completely want to remove your Docker image itself, you can use this command Docker RMI and the image ID. Okay. Now that the test has passed and we have destroyed the container, finally you can deploy your application on machine 3. Now let me go to my machine 3. So my machine 3 is over here. All right. So my Puppet agent was running on my machine 3 also. So I need to pull all the configuration on this machine as well. I will do Puppet agent -t. So it will pull all the configuration. Basically it will pull my application from machine 1 to machine 3. Okay. Now it has pulled it over here. All I need to do is move it to var www html. Right. And for the prod machine, my URL is edureka-us.co. Now that it has come to my machine 3 also, and I have placed in var www html where my Apache is running, so it should be deployed over here also. Now let's see whether it's working over here. Yes. Can you see? It has been deployed on my machine 3 as well. If I just click on simple sign in, let me just check for sign in as well. See, you are able to sign in as well. So I have successfully deployed my Edureka homepage on my prod machine as well. So we have come to an end of this session, guys. So let me summarize this complete session. So we have seen what all stages are there in DevOps lifecycle: version control, continuous integration, continuous testing, continuous deployment, continuous monitoring. These all stages are there in DevOps lifecycle. And there are hundreds of tools which you can go ahead and use to follow this DevOps approach. But the selection of tool depends on your requirement and the organization which you are working for. Okay. So let me summarize the use case as well, the Edureka use case which we just now saw. So my project was there on GitHub, okay, and using Jenkins I pulled my project on machine 1. Then using Puppet I sent this application to machine 2, where using Docker container I ran my application, and I ran a simple Selenium script using Jenkins, and I tested my application. Once the test has passed, I destroyed my Docker container, and finally I deployed my application onto machine 3. Okay, people, so now you can easily answer what are the different stages in DevOps lifecycle, what kind of tools are used in DevOps, how continuous integration, continuous testing and containerization work together, and how Puppet is used for configuration management. So all these questions you can easily answer now after watching this session. Now in case you don't know the answer still, you can go back and watch this video again. All these answers are there in this session itself. Okay. Also, people who are looking to pursue their career in DevOps, right? You can just go to this URL, edureka.co DevOps. We offer DevOps certification training. We have a course, okay? By this course, you can master DevOps, okay? So you will get more details about this course. You can go to this URL, edureka.co DevOps. All right. So this is the end of this tutorial, folks. Thank you for your time and watching this video. I hope it added value to you guys. Please like and share this video, and feel free to comment and give your feedback, and also subscribe to our Edureka channel to learn more. Happy learning.